We're live.
Oh, that's crazy. I can't find where the tandem window went. It just disappeared on me. What the hell? Huh? Hello?
The stream is so broken.
Well, we're live. Hello, everybody. 5th Alternate live stream. Yeah.
Disappeared on me. What the hell? Hang on, I might have to leave and join the chat. One sec.
What the fuck happened to? What happened to? What happened to homework?
I'm back.
What happened to you there?
Homework.
Oh, I just have to restart.
We'll give everyone a split second here. I'm gonna go ahead and do the pings and the jazz. Jazz.
Okay.
Do I don't need ping community updates for this, do I? Maybe.
Press the high five button.
The high five button. Where the fuck
Yeah,
is
it's
the high
on
five
reactions.
button?
It's where it says reactions. There's a high five button.
Is my webcam, my fuck ass webcam setup blocking it? I think it is.
It's on the bottom bar on the main meeting room window. There should be a button that says high five.
There's
Next to
mute,
widgets?
camera, screen chat. I think it might be cut off. Dude, you would not believe my setup right now. Is that just gonna be stuck here? Oh, you have to actually. Okay, I'm a fucking boomer.
It shows up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This shit's so stupid.
I do. That's why I want to pay $500 a year. I'm joking. I might do that. And that's the only reason, though.
As you guys can see, we're on a different platform other than Discord for this one. It's called Tandem. We're using it for this one. I'm trying it out. Let me get the fucking Twitter post. You know, I had a friend who called it X, and yeah.
Had. Had. Ooh, rough. I'll take my advance. Just careful, just doing drugs on stream, guys. Don't look at it.
This I don't know how YouTube feels about that shit.
It's medication. It's
licensed medication.
I'm allowed to take this.
Yes. Okay. So
my coffee too. Delicious.
As the doctor prescribes. Okay, so
yes, of course. Take one with coffee every morning. Yeah, definitely says that.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. This update stream. We were supposed to do this yesterday, but
fires.
Fucking Australia. Yeah. Fucking Australia. Where do we begin? We should probably begin with we went on break over the winter for Christmas.
Winter.
We did a little Christmas break. That's why the stream got delayed an extra week. The bi-weekly cycle got pushed an extra week.
My computer. Hang on, where is the Discord server?
Did you intentionally crack your voice like that? Because that was foul.
Yeah. I have an excellent talent called accidental voice cracks. Definitely accidental. I think otherwise.
So, all right, where do you guys want to begin? Is there any kind of notes that you guys want to start off with? Because I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm still waking up. Yes, I know it's 4 p.m. Fucking fantastic.
It's 9:11. It's 9:11 a.m. for me right now. Oh no.
All right, so we did a couple things.
Let's put this somewhere better.
There hasn't really been much progress these last 2 weeks, or last 3 weeks actually, technically, because of winter break and homework. You had your birthday thing and all that, right?
Big old 25 now. Woo, 25. Woo.
You're old.
Quarter life crisis. Woo. Anyway,
Happy birthday, by the way.
thank you.
So yeah, not too much was done this week, and then but actually there were some changes to the alternate docs repository. So if I actually went ahead and showed you guys, so this right here is the I made a history document, so it's history.md. It just talks about it's just a brief kind of set in stone the history of the project and what it alternate is, what it isn't, everything like that. Again, the purpose is just kind of for anyone looking back on the history of this project. They have like just a single concise place to get that information. And then there is authority.md. And this document is important to the project because for the last little while of this project, we have had a governance structure. It just hasn't been set in stone anywhere. It hasn't been written anywhere. It's kind of just been assumed. So it's just kind of been loosely enforced. So now it's actually written, set in stone. It governs project leadership and our authority boundaries and everything like that. So, of course, my position would be the project manager in this sense, and these are my responsibilities. And it makes sure to clarify that I do not have technical authority over protocol design or implementation details, because that falls on the technical lead. And the technical lead would be homework. And this includes the project architecture and design and the actual like writing of the official spec. He architects the whole thing and directs all the technical work. And his decisions regarding the technical decisions are final. And my entire purpose in the project is to just manage the funds, manage the resources. It's to manage the community. It's to make sure the updates and news and everything are getting out there. And he takes the authority in terms of like the actual designing aspect. And then the developer would be Pascal. Pascal, you haven't said a word this entire meeting. You can say hi.
Hey guys, what's up?
Nice. So he's in charge of actually developing the proof of concept code implementation, which you're doing in Rust, right? We had a whole
Yeah.
stream shilling Rust. So
Just having a look at the changes that were done in that PR.
so he's gonna actually be developing the proof of concept code implementation based on the spec, and that is gonna be again that's designed and architected by the technical lead. Then he actually takes that and turns it into the code, and he's gonna be doing that. And there is actually one more thing I want to show, and it's this. So funding authority is very important because anytime we want to use any of the alternate funds, I would have to submit what's called a community authorization request, and it's CAR for short. And these are submitted to the community, and I request an amount. I state the purpose. I give a description of how it will be used. I give an ordered list of actions that will be taken if it's authorized and the justification.
1 second.
And it
just
has to be
turn my camera for a
published
minute.
everywhere where we can publish it. And then the voting period is open for a minimum of 48 hours, and VPN connections can be limited, but other than that, I can't limit like entire regions or anything. And during this time, I would be monitoring community feedback and ensuring that feedback is available for review prior to authorization. And then once it's approved, then we have to go through that process. So there's a whole kind of thing outlined now as far as actually using funds. Now, because I'm sure you guys saw in the early days of the project, whenever the funds were originally raised and stuff, a lot of people were worried this may be some kind of like scam or whatever, where like I may just walk away with the funds or whatever. So it's important that there's actually a written, set in stone kind of structure for how the funds need to be used, because then I can't just disappear with the money or some shit like that, right? This actually holds Raven and me accountable. Now, I say Raven and me accountable now because good news, Raven has actually been filed with the state of Texas as an LLC, although it hasn't been fully approved yet, as last I checked, but I'll check it live with all of you. let me go ahead and head here. We're going to go ahead and search this up. So this is the Texas Secretary of State. You can see this is the official government website right here for the state of Texas. And then if we got government websites, man, taking this sweet fucking time. Holy shit. Yep. So you can see that this is the document number. The entity name is Raven Technologies Group LLC, and it was received on my birthday, and it was a legal entity filing document, and it has been received. So that does not mean it has been approved yet, which is the important clarification I have to make, is that, you know, the company's not official yet because it takes a couple of days usually until it gets fully finalized, but it has been registered. So that's
Peak. That's
yeah.
peak.
And the importance of that is that now we're going to have proper, a much more proper legal structure, because legally speaking, the funds, this project, everything, the contracts even that we've signed is technically just signed to me, just an individual, right? Not to Raven as a company. And it's important that these funds actually have a legal entity that they are held by, that isn't just some dude, right? Because that would be bad. You know, a lot of people again were talking about, you know, me as a single individual having too much control over like the funds and everything like that. That's an understandable concern, which is why this will actually make it so that Raven, the company, actually has the controls the funds. Raven is a proper legal entity that can sign contracts and everything. We're going to get a licensed attorney to actually write up the proper contracts and everything. We're going to make everything much better legally standing, which long term is best for this project, because this project needs to have proper legal protection and structure for it to get anywhere long term. It can't just be riding along some dude, right, like that. If you want a serious project, I see you quietly trying to but it dude. But the whole point of the LLC, like I said, is just giving a proper legal structure and legal protection for Raven as a whole and this project and everything else. So,
I
and
didn't
that
realize this one
was
should be so loud. I apologize.
it's I actually, for the company registration, I'm sure most of y'all have seen this, but in case if any of you didn't, where is it? There we go. Had to go look for it. So that's actually what we did for the company registration. Is I submitted a community authorization request to request $1,000 of the, I think it's $43,000 of the crypto that we're sitting on, and I asked to use it to register the LLC, obtain an EIN, open a dedicated business account, and seek legal guidance from a licensed attorney regarding governance, contracts, and compliance, then transferring the remaining funds under the control of the formed entity, and then publishing a follow-up. So there is going to be a transparency report made with exactly when, where, what, why, all of that, notes and everything of that sort, for where the funds went and all of that. So that's the most crucial stuff that I wanted to get out of the way there. Now, as far as what we're going to be talking about next, I think it's important we should talk about what the next 2 weeks are going to look like. And I think that's where you can kind of take the lead. Homework.
Oh wait, say it again. I was just reading the PR. Just
It's all good.
repeat.
I was saying, so I already talked about the company registration. I talked about authority.md. I talked about the history document briefly. And now I was saying we should shift focus into talking about what the next 2 weeks are looking like.
So next 2 weeks, we're going to revise in a dev call in a few days the tasks that we have to get done. Where we're at, sort of just like implementation wise, go over the pull request, which failed the merge check. So, just go over why, that happened, but also just like review potentially the code readability, which in my personal opinion, is readable. Sure, it's like verbose
You're talking
and
about the one
quite
by
literal.
Westbot, right?
Yeah. I have set up a workflow inside the repo that runs on GitHub Actions. And if someone submits a pull request or a change to the code, it has to pass the build and test check before it can be merged into the code base. So there's like no out hit like issues or bad code pushed that just causes shit to break. So it has to pass that before being merged, and it didn't pass. So it's something to do with the code structure. And then also the TOML, that probably needs to be changed. That's up to Pascal. Pascal case.
Dude, the TOML and the implementation was sad.
The implementation was.
Yeah, well, I mean,
hey man, I'm not in charge of the TOML.
that is TOML.
The TOML implementation.
That is TOML. If you can, yeah, I mean it's verbose, but you get like good syntax highlighting and stuff. Like if you can actually like give me a good reason why it shouldn't be that way.
Someone in the chat that's shitting all over your tongue.
I mean, that is TOML. Right?
Hey, I hope you have a blessed day. Good luck. Well, I appreciate that, Lil Panda.
Tom himself forsakes it. Yes, that is true. Tom, the creator of TOML.
Well, I mean,
no.
I don't know if you know the quote, like, it's featherless and it works in 2 feet. It must be a man, right? That is TOML for you, right? So
yeah, I'm a YAML.
I mean, there's obviously
superior orist YAML.
Dude, I hate YAML so much. Like it shouldn't exist.
I fucking hate YAML. I'm not gonna lie to you, fellas.
I've written too much Docker Compose in my life to not ever fuck up that syntax. But basically, no. Back to get back on topic. Review our like goals with version 1, like proof of concept, which is the DNS and like peer dialing and routing through relays. And then, going from there and seeing what we can do to expand and I guess what are the words I'm looking for? Like extend the functionality to like the full proof of like full, Alternet version 1. And then list out the specification, because the way the peer-to-peer works when defining protocols is you define the protocol name as a string, and then below that you have your rules that can be that are allowed when 2 peers use the identified protocol. So that's when you initiate a connection. It's like, hey, I'm over here and I'm using these protocols, and it goes, oh, okay, hi, yeah, I accept that, and then they can talk. And the good thing about libpeer-to-peer is because it's implemented in multiple languages, you can just, if you understand the rules of the protocols that we're building, you can then write code to support that in other languages like Python or JavaScript or whatever.
So as far as that goes, because you mentioned the whole peer-to-peer connections and everything, I thought we already got that kind of ironed out, or have you not ironed out the full details?
Well, it's peer-to-peer because libpeer-to-peer is peer-to-peer, but
yeah.
It still follows the same way we're going to be routing traffic. Still supports the client-server model. So your client is still a peer in the network. All peers are like nodes, essentially, but they can have different roles within the network. So you can have DHT server nodes, which run the distributed hash table as like a server and distribute information outwards. And clients don't have to participate in that. They can just have that turned off, and they just receive information and or restore or like cache and help peers find nodes, basically. Help with routing. Like it's dynamic. It's not just set as all peers are equal. You can have peers be clients, like clients, or servers be servers. It just depends on what you want them to do in the network, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can still have like client server model. But my grand vision in my head for like ecosystem in Alternet is to try and build out infrastructure eventually, not now, but eventually, that's treats the internet more as just peers talking to each other, if that makes sense. But yeah, we can do the whole like TLS wrapping, quick tunnels, everything. That's all libpeer-to-peer sort of. It's like that part's done for us. Like fucking God, we don't have to do that ourselves. That's just pain and suffering. But the actual implementation of the protocols themselves will be done using libpeer-to-peer. That makes sense.
So the current state of the project, as far as everything is going, we have some boilerplate.
Oh yeah,
like for
boilerplate, but like
the code to be put. And then last I checked, we have like a little bit of pseudocode. And then we have you kind of still have the concept ongoing and everything. Have you because currently the Alternet repository has the overview and kind of like you wrote out how you want the implementation to be done and everything. But have you actually like as far as the
Is this the
details
right
of it?
window?
Have you ironed out the details yet, or were you?
Hold on, can you see my screen share? Is it there?
It is super tiny, but yes.
Tiny. Oh yeah, because you're on a TV. That's right. That makes sense.
The stream for the stream, it's going to be super small.
Oh right, that makes sense. You should sure you can enlarge it though. There's like a maximize button or something. Ah, yes, that is peak. That is peak right there. Look at that. But no, my understanding of this code essentially is that all event handlers will be thrown in this box essentially.
I'm going to try to pull it up.
This vector which contains boxes, and then it
So you're
just does
looking
the
at main, or are you looking at
loops
event?
over it? Oh, I'm looking at main.
Main.
And then the way what is this? How is Pascal defined this? Is it's like put your handlers in here. This selects and loops over handlers, and then how the peer-to-peer works is it just goes, okay, handle for that like network behavior specifically, which is defined by this here. And it just passes out the event. Enum.
Defined by what here? They can't see your screen. Remember?
Oh, true. It's a line. Pascal's probably be better to talk about this than me. It's his code.
You
But
can
my
explain
understand.
it if
That's
you
my
want, but I'm just telling-
my monkey brain understanding is we define the network handlers as network behavior. Like we define the handlers as network behaviors, which receive the out event as an enum, and then you just match it to like a function. As like
I'm trying to get
understanding.
the whole point of me asking any of these questions is my whole point is I'm trying to get a hold of exactly where the project is. Like
we have the sort of event lifecycle and handling outlined, and now it's just a matter of implementation. So that's what we're going to be focusing on.
Pascal, do
like
you have
proper
any comments on that?
Going into like the weeds of it and being like, ooh, this is how this works, and then figuring out how we're going to do like distributed testing kind of. Anyway, Pascal.
Yeah, I mean, what's going to happen is we're going to have this meeting, right? And that's where we're going to see like where we're going to go next, right? Obviously, last year has mainly been like boilerplate, right? We kind of started close to the end of the year anyway, right?
Getting the basics.
Yeah, we've got the life cycles done. Yeah, we got Tokyo hooked up, right? Now it's just going to be a matter of like seeing like what exactly is the concrete features that we need to implement. But even more difficult is like implementing it is one thing, but then doing it in a scalable and maintainable manner is another, right? So we have to see. I need to see like what kind of like constructs we need to sort of put together for that. We already have a bunch of stuff that I've been working on. And yeah, it's just going to be like, how do we actually architect these features? Do we need to
on this thing on this stream?
I think wait for the holidays moment. The only thing I have to show is my beautiful face.
Well, he was mentioning he had a lot of work he was working on and stuff. I didn't know if he had anything that was ready.
Do you have like
shown yet.
like a PR that you could push in, or is it just like waiting for the dev meeting on that?
I think it's waiting for the meeting. I just need I need both of us to like basically these meetings are just us, right? We go through the code, we just make sure things are okay, right? But yeah, I think maybe wait for that meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys don't really have so as far as like what's going to be done the next 2 weeks, you guys haven't really planned that out yet.
No, we're getting off break now, but that's the plan for the next meeting is sit down for 4 hours and yell at each other like, no, I'm right, you're wrong, and then figure out where to go from there. And then I'll update the documentation repo with the going forward, like the plan going forward. We also have the projects tab under the Alternet repository, which actually outlines.
I don't know if you knew that there's actually a file labeled 2025-1210.md that's just empty.
That might have been my computer that did that. We don't talk about that. Obsidian moment.
But
Obsidian,
that's been another aspect of this that has been because part of part of this whole thing is the document repository has actually been pretty, which makes sense because the last 3 weeks we haven't because of holidays and everything. But there we have the private node to relay document that you wrote out, and then we have the authority history. Then we have the Excalibur from that one time. And then
we have that branch called ecosystem, which has got that extra folder that has my brain splurge idea in it for
Does it?
data ownership.
Ecosystem.
Yeah, it's an ecosystem branch.
How
I've
the
merged
fuck
it yet because I have to fucking update a bunch of my file naming structure because it's all over the place. But
Listen, I'm the world's greatest developer. I don't know how the fuck branches work, so I never saw this.
so you gotta click on the branches button.
Yeah, I
It's
found
changed to ecosystem. You go to brainstorming, not brainstorming. It's under wait, what the fuck is it? It's under ecosystem,
Bellas.
and then ecosystem project ideas,
I
which
am
is
the
named
greatest
incorrectly.
developer that has ever lived.
And then it's under the readme.md, and it's you can read more here. And it's
Internal
got a
bleeding and screaming.
huge. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Okay. Very professional. User data, personal data. So yeah, this is what you were telling me about before. You kind of just splurging all your ideas out.
No, I actually did like a full fucking write up. It's crazy. Yeah, read more here.
I have not actually read any of this. You know, that's something I actually wanted to talk about, dude, because you've like been doing a lot of stuff like as far as this goes. And then hold on, let me go to the Alternet like update page.
Yeah, read through that. That is a lot of information that is inside my brain. That was inside my brain.
The last post from you was December 17th. My whole point, man, is the fucking like a lot of shit has been done, but I didn't even actually know that you did any of this. Wow.
I sent you this link like 6 times. What do you mean? It's also like in like the website posts, like somewhere down a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Am I fucking stupid?
Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll.
Hey,
scroll
listen,
down
I will fully believe that I am stupid as shit, but I actually hadn't seen this.
It's even got diagrams that I did in Mermaid, so it's like in the markdown, you know.
Fuck yeah. So can you
that's
actually?
like-
Why don't you run me through? Why don't you go ahead and explain this out? Why don't you go ahead and like give a summary, like explanation of this all?
So this ecosystem idea would come after Alternet is built in stable version 1. It's like the idea is that it's a dedicated on-device client that speaks to the network. But the idea is that when a service wants to store your data, instead of it being written to some random fucking Postgres server in AWS East 1, they have to you initiate an authentication flow. So you're like, hey, I'm giving you access to my data pod. That's what it's called, like POD. And it uses the peer-to-peer to do like a sort of like reverse OIDC flow, where it's like the service comes in and goes, oh, I want access to this pod with this name, with these permissions, like read, write, delete, etc. And then they can store your data for their service on your client locally, and they can only access and write when you are online and connected. Is kind of like the idea. The data is signed with a signature with their private key set. So if you try and modify that data, say if it's like, you know, like inventory or multiplayer game service data, if you try and modify it and then it's kind of like HTML verification where you send the package back up and they reconnect and it like doesn't match their like hash. It's like, you know, you modified the data, not allowed, but you can still see it and it's encrypted locally. The idea is that you maintain control over data, and then the other like part of this is building out like a localized OIDC provider. So you know when you like sign into like a website, like sign in with Google,
yeah,
and then you just give them access to your Google account. They can just do whatever the fuck they want with it in the background as long as you give them access to scopes. The idea is that you set up that locally, so you have to go to like the fucking Google dashboard and generate app ID credentials, and it all just runs on localhost. So when you sign into stuff, and then it generates like a pod for that like integration, so that I'm looking at the chat right now. I got distracted. So the way it works is like you have all of these like integrations signed in like Discord, Twitch, Spotify, Google locally. And as they're all like updating data locally, a service is like, oh, hey, I want to access your Google account to see this data and information. They have to explicitly ask for those permissions locally on your device. And they get like very specific read, write access scopes. And then when they access and read from that data, it writes to an audit log and you can see everything that they're doing with it and who accessed what when and changed what when if they have access to like write permissions. And the idea is so people can build out like their own like mini apps or integrations or systems that they could share with other users. So like if a Discord bot fires an event, so you have like a Discord bot that's hooked up to your pod, you can see just everything that it's doing with your data. And it's all there in front of you. And if someone starts abusing that connection, you can just revoke the session and they'll no longer have access to it. It's like the idea.
I mean, yeah, I'll tell you right now, this is some long-term
That's
shit.
all lined out in this thing. It's fucking crazy, dude. because I
That's
spent so long
you
building
yeah.
out stuff with Auth0.
I remember you mentioned that before. Yeah, this whole thing is a very interesting concept, but the only concern I have, which I told you that before, is
Mm.
I want to make sure we're sticking to our scope for now.
Well, of course, yeah. No, this is
branch
like
out.
this is like in the future. But
This
this is
would
something
be
I'm
this would
definitely. I'm
be
going to build
in
this at
yeah
some
this
point.
would be in the future, but
I am definitely building this at some point, though.
this guy's mind is like a PC. Yeah, homework is a
I
special.
also figured out how to do like immutable posts with decentralized identifiers. You could have like a post that you post online somewhere, get sent out to the network, and then people can read and write it. And then if you say like want to, repost or quote repost, it doesn't duplicate the initial post. It just uses it as a reference. But then if you want to do like a quote post, like with commentary, you can add that context below. I've got all the data structures. I can just in a README file. And then if you want to do like a threaded reply repost chain, also figure that out.
Bro
It's a
needs
bit too
more
much
Git
time.
literacy. I know.
64 gigs of RAM, bro. I have like 2 gigs of RAM in my brain. I have to write everything down because I forget.
You see,
That's why
we're two sides of the same coin. I can't forget shit, but I
that's
just
why I have
don't write it down.
amphetamines prescribed. Amphetamines, yes. So then I forget shit.
I looked at the crypto. I looked at the PR. It looks like it's failing because it's lacking a crypto library.
That shouldn't be the case then, because if it's lacking a library, that's an issue with the dependencies specifically.
A lot
So
of
it's
the
the TOML
code in
file
the
that's
Rust
broken.
library isn't even verbose. It's just structured badly.
Hey,
Heresy.
take that up with someone else.
It's
Heresy.
my... I'll let Pascal yap for a minute.
No.
Pascal, just get
No,
it off your
don't
chest.
hold me back. Hold me back. Hold me back. I actually feel like a lot of the code in the Rust library is quite idiomatic and great, right? It's a lot of people just don't, they go off and write something different, right? But who am I to criticize that? Yeah, that's my rant.
Well, the project slowed down due to the break, but then we're picking back up the pace. So as far as because when do you guys think, because obviously the very first thing we're going to need to do is get to a point where we just have a protocol, right? Like just a network protocol that functions where two computers can connect to each other. When do you think we're going to get to a point where we at least get that? Not a 1.0, more like a 0.1. When do you think we're going to get to that?
Probably we have to get identify working, so two nodes can communicate and do protocol negotiation, and then we have to get connection between two nodes, which I don't think is necessarily that difficult. It's mostly just building and writing the code and then testing it. Loop peer-to-peer thankfully handles most of that for us. It's more so the custom protocol implementation that is going to take the longest and be the most technically challenging.
He's flexing RAM.
Yeah, bro. Look at this. I got some RAM here, DDR4.
Is it DDR4? Okay, it ain't DDR5.
Oh, I got some more DDR4 here. 32 gigs here. 32 gigs that just fall on the floor.
It ain't DDR5.
Oh, DDR5's in my PC. That's why I have the DDR4 RAM just here. That's why.
Well, as far as the Alternet protocol goes, one of the things that I think is, one of the literally the most important aspect of Alternet as a protocol is the mutually assured destruction concept. And I actually really want to hear Pascal answer this. So as far as the mutually assured destruction concept, what have either of y'all done any? Because obviously it is something that would need to because obviously we need to get something that just functions first and then build up from there. But I feel like we need to design with the concept of MAD from the start, right? So what I'm asking is as far as the concept of MAD goes, how do you think? Have you guys done any research? Have you guys done any looking into how you guys are going to go about that? Because the concept is you guys know the concept. The whole concept is that Alternet's not hostile. Alternet's not malware. Alternet's not going to attack the internet. It's think of it like poison ivy, right? If you fuck with it, it hurts you. You know what I mean? If you try to touch it, if you try to whatever, then if you try to censor it or whatever, it's going to bite back. But if you leave it alone, it leaves you alone. You know, that kind of concept. So and originally when I was writing up the really horrible old version of the spec, um, the way I was trying to explore MAD is essentially by if you intertwine alternate closely with regular HTTP traffic well enough, then the only reasonable way you would be able to prevent it is through something like deep packet inspection, and trying to analyze packets very deeply to inspect them for flaws like that, which especially over encrypted communications like HTTPS and stuff can really slow down a network, and it would really damage the regular web in the process. Anyways, my whole point though with any of this is that what I'm trying to ask is, have you guys like even do you guys have an idea in mind as you're going through like developing the whole thing?
Real quick for Pascal answers, my understanding is that we're going to be running most nodes with Quick, like a quick tunnel to relays. We're going to be running it through port 443 to make it, look like just HTTP3 traffic. With by default running over IPv4, but if available, which is more, I guess so, preferred IPv6, because you can sign identity without having to like use an IP address. It's complicated, but
Well, I actually thought that actually confused me. I thought we were going for an IPv6 based thing, were we not?
yeah, no, I know, but like it's compatibility
Okay, well, okay.
concerns, because so
Most
not
of the
all
world-
networks support
most of the world
IPv6.
doesn't have IPv6 yet. Yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
it really depends on like it's mostly modern networks that have it. Like most of Australia supports it, but they're very up to date with their networking, which is except for the speeds, of course, but the infrastructure is. My understanding is that we can also do stream multiplexing between peers and relays and other nodes. So you can use both quick TCP and then wrap it all in TLS to make it look like just HTTP traffic, which is kind of like adding 3 layers to something you don't need, but you can do things like that. So if like one connection fails, it like jumps over to another, and then if that connection then fails, it's you're then just starting to harm regular TCP or TLS traffic, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, because Quick is very identifiable, like comparatively to HTTP.
Yeah, because it only has like 3 network round trips.
It's
but
very distinguished because HTTPS has a very specific, distinguished kind of traffic pattern, and then Quick is HTTP is like this, and Quick is like over here. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah,
like,
HTTP is like, I'm going to do 6 network round trips to establish a connection, and Quick's like, here's 3.
exactly. So my whole point is, that is going to be kind of a
The
difficult process.
better way to maybe do it is to like establish with something like TCP or like a mock HTTPS connection, and then upgrade the connection to Quick after the fact. Just make it blend in. But then you are sending Quick packets, which can be sent out of order, which is good because it means like if someone tries to send a packet and then send it again, it like gets to the destination, it's fine.
I'm just very concerned about the MAD aspect because obviously, and that's always going to be a concern of mine. I'm not concerned because of you guys specifically. That's just always going to be a concern of mine.
Yeah, I think the best thing we can do is just stick to regular transport.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to the last time I think I talked about this on stream, right? I think we're starting off on a good foot. Like the P2P already provides a lot for us in terms of making sure this is going to be hard to shut down, right? But we can keep escalating in terms of like the level of let's say protection that we give to this network, right? But it always has trade-offs. There has to be a point where we say, yeah, this is going to be good enough, right?
Of course.
I do think it's definitely going to be robust for the use case that we're talking about, right? But if you guys want, we can go all the way and make this absolutely
pain in the ass to censor, yeah, because that's the beauty of lib peer-to-peer. It works offline. If you just have a bunch of lib peer-to-peer nodes in a network,
a lot of people were asking though, especially in the early days of the project, mainly because they didn't explain it well enough. But Alternet comparatively to Tor or I2P or whatever else. The entire point is that those are not valid replacements for our current regular web. Tor is way
Just
too
low.
slow. I2P is storage specific. It's not really made for
Mm.
like watching a Twitch live stream, right? Alternate is supposed to be capable of replacing the regular web, even if it may be, and it's very likely that it will be a bit slower than the regular web and whatnot. But as
Mm.
far as like it should be a valid replacement, like one that the average, even non-tech savvy user, like it would serve their purposes. You know what I mean? As far as like watching
Mm.
YouTube and like doing all the shit that we do. And then the other important aspect is, of course, the mad aspect, because if this, as far as I remember, a lot of people even still ask me like, what do I mean by censorship resistant? What do I mean by uncensorable? Whatever, and it's that technically, yes, this network can be censored because you can't make something 100% uncensorable. That's just not that's a fantasy. But you can make it so that, like the whole idea of if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me, kind of thing, right?
Mm.
And that's like its protection. Because in order to censor alternate at scale, you have to censor the regular web at scale. And through that whole idea, I was just my whole point in even asking these questions is I just want to make sure that it's something that like is being very carefully considered, because whenever you're um, proposing potentially going through quick, and when you're talking about different things like that, it does create traffic that differentiates pretty greatly. Because any network and any individual who knows their shit about networking will tell you, like, just passing through the same port isn't going to make the traffic look the same as the other traffic, right?
Mm.
And like the traffic has to fundamentally, like, if I look at a network packet, if I'm looking through all the network packets running through my network, like I'm a network admin, I got Wireshark running or whatever, and I see all these normal looking packets, same, very normal byte sizes and everything, and then I see just fucking, a wildly
Black
different thing.
black lines. Oh,
Exactly.
what's that?
It's
That's
gonna
a
like, you get
deauthentication
what I'm
factor.
saying,
Oh,
and then if you
yeah.
if you get kind of the fingerprint of that traffic, then you can easily censor that traffic.
Mm.
And
The
the way
beauty,
that
though.
Tor actually went about this is they Snowflake, right? You guys have heard about Tor Snowflake, right? Have you guys? I don't know if you have.
I'm just responding in chat right now. Tor is slow because of onion routing.
But as far as Pascal, have you heard about Tor Snowflake?
No,
Yes,
no.
I have that as an extension on my
So
browser, and I occasionally
So
look at
what
it, and
Tor
it lights up.
Snowflake is because Tor gets censored in a lot of places like Russia or whatever, right? And so you go through a thing called Snowflake, which basically is a volunteer ran system where volunteers will donate a little bit of their traffic, like someone in the US like me. I will run a Snowflake node, and they actually pass through me as kind of a gateway to get into the Tor network.
It's like a bridge, but it runs
It's
through
a bridge,
WebRTC,
and it
Web
runs through
Transport or something,
WebRTC so that it kind
or
of
Transport. I can't remember.
It disguises itself, making it look like you're just in like a video call or something. But like
Hmm.
that's how they get around it. But but again, if we were going through with trying to go with quick and everything, like there needs to be some kind of plan as far as how we're going to go
Well,
about the
the
that aspect.
thing with lib peer-to-peer is if we decide to build like a browser extension to facilitate access to the network, we can use protocols and systems like web transport or WebRTC to communicate between, say, a relay and other nodes through the browser. So that is an option open to us, and it's not necessarily that complicated to implement. We can also do the route of you run client software and then it uses like a local RTC to connect to the web, like to the web extension, but that's more complicated for most people. It really depends on how we plan on providing client access. Because WebRTC just looks like regular fucking vehicle traffic. And also the beauty of like fingerprinting packets, specifically with how we're going to be signing each session, is we're planning on using like noise keys. So they're ephemeral keys generated for that like specific communication session. And then obviously the packets are then signed with that. So if a bunch of Alternet packets come flooding through a network and then the network admin decides to block them, you just create a new session and it's a whole different fucking request signature.
Yeah.
And those keys are only for that session. They don't have to expose your peer ID. So your keys that are generated when you install the client and use it for the first time, those are like your public key and private key, and that's used to sign to your identity on the network, as well as like your address, which they can also change if you wanted. You can do like dynamic addressing. It's kind of funky, but and then you then talk using a multi-address through a relay. So the relay assumes your peer identity when you're connected to it, which is why the plan is to have like network-wide records on the DHT, like not like advertising relays, as well as providing like a network-generated score for like reliability and trust.
Yeah.
So if a node constantly starts and stops, that's called node churn. And the beauty
it
of
kind of sounds like
peer-to-peer
the system that Tor has, just not as centralized.
Yes, exactly. It's decentralized.
You're taking kind of the concept of how Tor goes about it with their like authorities or network authority. I forgot the label that they use.
Yeah, it's like a cloud controller in an internal private network, but on Tor.
Yeah.
But the idea is that, you know, you can run your own relay if you wanted to. Just get a VPS and run the software on it and then connect to it from your client. That could be an option. You run for your own, you run all your buddies and it's private.
On improving its encryption structure, make it as strong as Tor's. Actually, I think Tor should just find a way to implement this protocol.
Honestly,
Tor would be
no, Tor has its uses for sure. The reason why Tor is so fucking slow is because of how they encrypt and route packets through onion routing. That's why it takes forever to resolve a location, because you're just bouncing traffic around through like just multiple layers like an onion.
And their defense,
and each layer just encrypts it further, and it's just like, oh.
In their defense, though, the design of Tor, I mean, this Tor is how old? It was designed in like, when was Tor made? It was like the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, by the U.S. Defense Department, and then they deployed it because they were like, "We're going to use this. We need a bunch of people to use it to make it anonymous." That's the whole point. Is you get lost in the noise.
Well, my whole point of even saying that though is like, you got to think back in those kinds of days, right? They're not exactly designing for,
yeah. Like streamable data, but the
Twitch
beauty of like
they weren't designing for live streams or
streaming, yeah, basically.
Kind of the shit we use the web for now. The web was treated a lot more as just like it was treated a lot more like just documents hosted on a server instead of like back then.
But because we will have the strength of stream multiplexing, once you establish like a connection between like a relay and a client, or a relay and another relay and a client, or a node and a relay and or whatever, you could have like a quick connection between the relay and your dedicated web server, or multiple hops away, which is complicated, but we can do it. We just have to do a bunch of code routing and algorithmic stuff. But because the Circuit V2 relay system is just for relays, it's not like for multi-hop traffic, but it is possible from my understanding. I've been a bunch of reading on it. But that would just slow you down. One, you don't want to use that for streaming. It would want to be like an almost direct connection if you're streaming something. It's complicated. But say you want to get you got quick traffic from server A to relay, then which then talks to you through your NAT, so you don't have to hole punch. Then connection will be relayed through quick, and it'll try quick first. If that doesn't work, it'll relay fall back to TCP. If that doesn't work, it can try just like direct web RTC connection straight to your PC. So you can do like multiple attempts. You can also run multiple protocols simultaneously to one client. So you could have like quick TCP and TLS, WebSocket or other connections, all just like managing on the same connection with once identity has been established. It's pretty cool. And because of the noise keys, each session is different.
Quick is getting adopted. Maybe for now it's easily identifiable, but it'll blend in soon enough. Of course, yeah.
That's true.
That is something worth considering, is that over time with HTTP 3.0 getting adopted more and more, quick traffic is going to become a lot more normal. And then as that becomes way more normal, Alternet's going to blend in way better because it is quick traffic. So
you can also just have the option in the client to not use quick traffic and just fall back to like WebSockets. we can use WebSockets with libpeer-to-peer. It
would be totally possible.
WebSockets just look like WebSockets. It's just a HTTP requested upgrades to bidirectional streaming. Just
So
lots of
that would
overhead.
probably, I honestly think that's a pretty good model. It's just, I think that is going to have to be like a big focal point. That is going to have to be a big kind of consideration throughout the development, though.
Mm, because
Will
yeah, the
Alternate have a
connection has to be
WebSocket, webhook
bidirectional.
replacement? You already answered
Yes,
that.
that'll
Yes.
be WebSockets aren't difficult. The HTTP request response model, because webhooks are just HTTP requests.
Yeah.
It's just a post request to a handler.
And
All that needs to do is once you've got the identity connection established, there'll be like a data model for sending HTTP request response, because once the tunnel is established, it's a bidirectional connection. Data can be sent and received,
then
and then
Alternate can
we can just like create handlers for that kind of
Yeah.
data. Kind of
Alternate
just
may
like
not
an inbuilt.
work, and Alternate may not work, and it's a growing concern for me. Tor is slow for the average user, but imagine Alternate. My main question is, how do you plan on making Alternate faster than Tor? Tor is slow.
Not
I
we're
listen.
not
I
onion
understand
routing.
this very well.
We're not onion routing. That's
Okay,
it.
okay.
That's
Let me
like
actually go ahead and explain
answering that
this
question.
because I have I obviously being the cybersecurity nerd and all that stuff, I can answer this because I've literally studied Tor. So, Alternate, there's a certain kind of concept called onion routing, which essentially onions have layers, and onions, and much like Tor has layers. So you can actually, so when you send traffic, it actually goes through 3 different hops and then gets to the end destination hop. So you're here, and then the server you want to connect to.
1 sec.
So so you're here, and then the server you want to connect to is here. You go through 3 different hops and then get to where you want. And it's done through the Tor protocol. Now, the way Tor is designed, because you're going through 3 different hops, and these hops are all across the world. It'll be like one in Texas, one in fucking Australia, and one in Mexico, right? And then to wherever your destination is. And it's great for the anonymity aspect of Tor because that's a difference actually between Alternate and Tor, is that Alternate doesn't have as much of a focus on making the end user as anonymous as possible or whatever. The focus of Alternate isn't to have all our users be anonymous. It's going to be a privacy respecting network, and it's not going to like just fucking dump your whole location and everything. But at the same time, it's not supposed to make you fully anonymous or whatever. So that is a difference between Tor and Alternate. And because are you guys still planning to go through with the optional onion routing, like the hopping?
Like multi-hop routing, yes, it's possible. But it's not like the same. It's not done the same way as Tor, where it's like, oh, like random address, bam, 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 bam. You when the client finds the destination server, it'll do like a path traversal to it because of how DHT XOR routing works, which is really fucking sick. But anyway, it can be like, oh, node. They will have like like hop mode or relay mode enabled, and at the source you construct a multi-address, which is basically those nodes that are the fastest route to that destination, and then it uses that to then basically talk to the network without having to actually expose the encrypted data that's held within its packets, because they're all like signed to the server and then the user, so you can't see.
Well,
And then those nodes just go boop, boop, boop.
with this design structure, we can absolutely that's kind of where the speed of Alternate comes in, right? Because Alternate Alternate by default, you're just going to go through a single hop, much like the regular internet. Because
we can even hole punch to direct peer-to-peer if we want to. Like that's a possibility. If your router supports it, we can just fucking avoid the relay and direct connect if you want. But like that's a possibility.
Yeah. But and that's much like how the regular web works. Because again, we're not trying to go for, and that's, I feel like, a differentiation that I need to make, because I don't think I made it too well at first, and I think that's something still many people are confused about. The whole, we're not designing this to be like an anonymous network or whatever. But what the fuck is my family doing? Holy shit.
Arguing. Domestic situation.
But the design of Alternate isn't going to be done by, at least by default. Again, the multi-hop thing, like that could be absolutely done in a way where it could be like configurable by the user if they wanted multiple hops or whatever. But by default, Alternate is not going to have that kind of multi-hop thing. So the latency between connecting to all those different sources and then destination doesn't exist. So now it's just the latency between you, the hop, then the server, or you then hole punch straight to the server, right? So then it's that's where the speed
Direct,
would come from.
direct and fast. Fast as
Once
fuck,
it's
boy.
out, I might try to make a simple browser. I mean, yeah, you could.
The
The
idea is
plan.
to I had a plan for browser, like custom browser stuff. If you're going to do that and go that route, use a web view system. Don't actually try and implement a browser from scratch. It's it's a lot of work. If you want to go the Rust route, there's a project called Taurus, I think, from memory, and it allows you to use the like device's native web view engine, and then you add in components on top of that to like talk to custom systems and add like UI and functionality, because that's like, when you like open a link on Discord or mobile and it brings up that extra browser, that's just web view. It's just using your inbuilt default browser, but you can add stuff on top of it.
Yeah.
And you can build applications that are cross-platform using that.
As far as
And that's the best way
getting
to do it.
Alternet to be as
Yeah,
usable as
Tori, that's it.
possible, as far as getting Alternet to be as usable as possible for end users, though, we are likely going to do the extension thing where you can just like the browser that you're already using, like Brave or whatever, you could just get a plugin or an extension, and then you can access Tor through Brave.
So Taurus, Alternet, yeah.
Yeah, because people aren't going to want to switch their. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I don't want to switch my browser. I don't want to fucking move my whole browser, all that shit. Not even I want to do that. So if Alternate was possible, where I could just use it within my same browser I'm already comfortable with, why reinvent the wheel? And that's kind of the entire philosophy of Raven. Not only Raven, but this project and everything like that. Because even with Talon, right? I didn't make everything from Talon from scratch. It's built upon CTT WinUtil. It's built upon Rafi's Win11 debloat, and then we have the custom PowerShell code on top of that, and then the Python and everything. But the big chunks there is built upon a stable, already existing foundation because it's a mature code base. It's a popular code base. It's like, why are we reinventing the wheel? You know, same with libp2p. Why we're using libp2p to start all? Imagine if we were building it all from scratch. I have another question. Is Alternate like I2P where you put a proxy address in Firefox, or is Alternate like Tor where you install an application? Alternate is just a protocol. It is not. Tor is just a protocol too, but it's heavily tied into their Tor browser. But as far as Alternate goes, it is just a protocol. So we, like I said, we're gonna try to make some kind of browser extension. And we were even discussing like for web servers, right? We can make like a plugin for web servers where the person running the web server can just like if I had an Apache web server, a Lightspeed web server, I could just slap in like an extension, right? And then configure the shit and then get it up and running on Alternate.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. You're right. I thought it was meant to be an anonymous network. Yeah, it's all good. And that's honestly, I don't even blame you for that, because communication regarding this project and everything has never been the best at the start, especially and everything. But that's why we're trying to make a big. That's why we're trying to correct this all and stuff. That's why we're doing these streams right now. And if you did want to read and learn about Alternate, I mean, he Homework did do the full write-up on the Alternate repo. There's like just a full write-up on how everything is planned to work and all that. And then we do have the Alternate page on our website where you can get updates, even though we barely ever post on there. But yeah,
I try my best to remember that exists, but ADHD.
Yeah.
I gotta set like a reminder that's just like post. Yeah.
It's hard to get in the habit of fucking posting.
I have a whiteboard
shit.
like behind me on the floor. It's right. Oh my god, my camera's stuck. It's like right there. Peak. I've been focusing too much on this beefy case though. Look at that thing. It's fucking enormous.
You got
the same size as my desk, dude. That's this. Got this for free. Couldn't be happier for it.
It is close to the
fans
hour mark, so before we head off, does anyone have any questions, any comments, any feedback, anything like that for all of us before we head off? Pascal, you've been the silent observer this entire time. What's going on with you, man?
Well, I think this is Homework's domain, right? He knows a lot more about this networking, right? So I guess when it does come to writing more code, I promise I'll be a bit more active.
Yeah. Well,
And you
and
can judge my TOML even harder.
let me ask you this. So we mentioned it before and stuff. But I don't think we ever set it in stone. Are we doing coding live streams? Because that would be fucking amazing. I think that'd be fucking awesome if we ever did like coding streams.
I think I'd like to make an effort to do coding live streams. I think it'd be fun.
If we ever did start
Do you
doing
hit
some
your
coding
TOML?
streams, because here's the thing, dude, we don't have to do a coding stream for all of the code, but just like, you know, every couple of days doing like a coding stream or whatever during the coding phase. I think that'd be very fun for just the whole community and stuff. I would watch that. Hell yeah. If www is abbreviated to W3, are you guys making a sequel to the www? Does that mean you guys are making W3 too? What? Please ban AI slop in the new internet. Well, okay, so let me actually go ahead and answer that for you. So, I'm sure you all are familiar with what's called the slippery slope fallacy. If we get to be the arbiters of information, if we get to be the arbiters, the gatekeepers who get to decide what goes in and what goes out, and we get to control that information, that's a slippery slope, and it defeats the entire purpose of Alternet, because free speech means free speech. It means, and true freedom means true freedom. There are consequences to freedom, because people are going to post things that you don't like. People are going to do things that you don't like. But that's the cost of true freedom. There is no arbiter who gets to control what is said and what's not said, because if I ban AI content, then I might as well just ban some. I have a certain political leaning or whatever, so I'm going to ban, you know, these people or whatever for whatever reason, right? And it can be a massive slippery slope there. And it's like, I don't know how you guys stand on the Israel-Palestine war or whatever, but let's say hypothetically I stood with one of the sides or whatever, I could easily be like censoring the other side, and like, you know, what you get my point, right? Like it's like there's a slippery slope there as far as what information we can control. So it's if we try to ban AI slop, which I do agree it's AI slop, it really is. Dude, fucking AI dog shit has been getting so crazy lately. But God, you guys know the amount of PRs I deal with on Talon or whatever, where it's like,
Yes, the just like political discussions. Yeah, that was peak. I was just kind of
I'm
in there
talking about
trolling
like
a
the
little bit.
AI slop, dude. It's crazy. It's-
Trolling. I love a bit of trolling. I did a bit
but
of running
as
and chilling
far
debating.
as
I was
as
just in
far
there
as
like, come on.
yeah, we are developing the protocol. We are making the protocol. We are not the arbiters of the protocol. We are not the controllers of the protocol. We're not the ones, you know, controlling the information that flows through it and stuff. We are just making the protocol. The alternate should be designed in a way where we Raven, you know, we don't have authority to control what people say and don't say on alternate and stuff, and that's a core principle. So that's just, you know, we don't want that to kind of be we don't want to be falling down that road. AN is
Yeah,
the ID.
you don't want to become those Linux groups that are like banning people for having a different opinion.
NixOS.
Hey man, NixOS is peak, but
All right, that's too
don't listen
far.
to the
That's
contributors.
too far.
He's on NixOS right now, so you know, get ready to throw hands. Get ready to throw...
That is too far.
There's a question in the chat. Someone has a question in the one of the chatters has a question. It's interesting.
I can make fun of Pascal's TOML the whole stream. Talon error. I don't like political belief. Oh my god, fix Talon.
Nish
He has a
XCC has a
question.
question. Oh, indeed he does.
Nick's niche is like, I have a question. Just nothing in the chat. So we have a Nix
man.
user and a TOML abuser.
Oh my god. Oh my
Hey,
god.
bars, dude. That was like, that right there. That's like a freestyle, right?
Man, Pascal's getting it today.
I'm getting stray bullets.
Yeah, bully
I
the
don't think
EU
they're all
member.
that stray,
Bully the EU Raven member. Do it, yeah. Yeah.
His region of the world
No.
sucks. Boo.
Nah. My region of the world sucks. It's on fire right now. But what?
How the fuck? Okay, genuinely, how the fuck is it so cold in Texas though? Because it is legit. I checked the weather earlier and it was like 38 degrees.
Did you see the heat map for Australia that came out? Like before we had that massive heat wave last weekend. Hang on, let me try and find it. There's on Discord somewhere. Someone sent it.
I
It's
don't
in the
think Niche is
mesh.
posting that
It's
question.
in the New
I'm
South
not
Wales
gonna lie.
mesh users group. Hang on, where is it?
Well, do you guys have any more questions or anything like that before we go off? Oh yeah. So homework. Are you going to start recording your guys's like meetings or whatever? Is that the plan?
You can record through Tandem, so yeah, that's the plan, I would assume. But if you look at that image I just sent, that was Australia on the weekend.
Let me check this out. Wow.
Red.
It's just all red.
Yeah,
Dark
my
fucking purple.
mates, where my mate lives, it got up to 50 degrees Celsius, which is in freedom units. I'm not sure, but it's fucking hot. What is that? Let me see. 50 Celsius.
Niche question asked. Okay, hold on. How will the discoverability of the websites in Alternet will be? Convenient, like Google browser results, or hidden like .onions?
So initially, we're not going to have a search engine because that shit is complicated. But the idea is that it'll just be like a domain name that you connect to, and then it looks up that record on the DHT and returns you the address of the server.
Someone could absolutely make a search engine for Alternet.
You're like, it wouldn't be that difficult, honestly. You just look for backlinks. That's how
We
search
could
engines work.
implement that.
The
like,
difference with
you know,
the regular web, like with Google or whatever, and then the difference with Alternet is that any kind of search engine would have to look up through that distributed hash table versus the regular web, which is like crawling websites, right, and shit like that. So it's um, it would be significantly easier to make a search engine for Alternet, comparatively. But I don't know. I honestly I doubt we're gonna make one. I doubt we are gonna make like an
The
official one or whatever.
idea that I had for like web, like it's like site naming, like the actual top level domain, like domain site naming. You have like the protocol identifier and : / Not sure how we're going to do that in the browser just yet, but I'm fairly certain there's a way to do it with some like fuckery with extensions. But then you have the domain name, which is just like, website or like blog or, cool tech site. And then you have another colon and then the topic, which is like kind of like a tag kind of, or like kind of like the top level domain, but not really. So you could have like code or, pets or X like topic, or it could just be like any word that you want. It could be like, I don't know, balls with a Z, and then like any site under that topic, you can like subscribe to that topic and be like, oh, here's all the different sites under that topic. So when you search for a topic in the search engine, it resolves, a potential list of sites that would have that topic, or you could look for the name and, you do stuff like that. And
well, because there
actually
are going to be
mapping,
no top level domain authorities.
it's literally just, you can either just have a domain with no topic attached, or you can attach a topic for like subscribing to that topic and getting updates from new sites or blogs that appear. Is the idea.
If we could get a question from Niche, we can get GTA 6 and Half-Life 3. How will you enforce things like rate limits, crawl, delay for bots? Well, because the way Alternate works is there's a cost to crawling and there's a cost to that stuff, because you have to it's expensive computationally to do that.
You have to establish a connection to the web server you're trying to crawl. You can't just, it's not like, it's the same still with just like regular web crawling, but the actual, you'd have to run a node that connects to Alternet and then talks to the DHT and then talks to the network. So you have a network. So eventually over time, it would generate sort of like a network trust score, because that's just how the system's going to work. And if that client is just constantly fucking reading huge amounts of data and establishing 50 fucking billion connections to a bunch of servers, so like rate limits are enforced by the node and the user, so you can do that on both sides. So if someone like sends way too much traffic, it just goes.
There's going to be no built-in network rate limit necessarily.
No, but it's like
the way we're preventing that is twofold. It's what he mentioned, so rate limiting configured by the nodes and by users, and then secondly, like I was mentioning with because again, there's a computational cost to encryption to all of these different connections and everything. So it makes crawling the network really expensive, and even if you do it, despite it being expensive, the network's just gonna fucking kick you out. You know what I mean?
Eventually, yeah. If it's just like this user's like spending an awful lot of uptime just looking at content and finding stuff and just like it's up to obviously node operators can see that connection and be like, what the fuck? What is this person doing? Just turn off the connection. They can just
I have
delete
an
the session.
interesting
Done.
question, and this is, I think, a question worth because we are reaching the hour 10 minute mark. I think it's about a good time to get ready to close up. As far as I have a very interesting question for you, Homework, because Tor has a problem where if a government or whatever wanted to just spin up thousands of Tor nodes, right? Like to try to basically man in the middle Tor. What kind of protections does Alternet have against any similar concept?
By default, when you like talk to a web server, you're just like talking to a web server, right? And you look up on the DHT. Oh, here's the address. Here's what it resolves to. We might run into issues where people try and sorry, no, we're not actually. I don't think there really is an issue. The only issue is if someone gets your private key, right? Because then they can assume your peer identity and then post malicious updates. So the only person that can update a DHT record is the owner of that record. It can't be published up by anyone else because of the cryptography.
I'm more specifically
and signatures.
referring to the nodes,
and then,
though.
yeah, and the nodes themselves, the relay nodes, the only information they see is where the traffic is going, not the traffic itself, because that stays encrypted. So a relay node just becomes you on the network and goes, oh yeah, like send me this traffic, but then actually it doesn't see your actual traffic.
And
So
due
if
to
someone were to man in the middle of your
cryptography,
traffic,
and due to
yeah,
cryptography, they can't just manipulate the data.
no, and also because it's quick. If it is quick, they could just like if they try and like swap the packets around, they still get back to you and can be put back in the right order, and it's fine. That's the beauty of quick. But if they were to like man in the middle of the attack and try and view your traffic, it's just encrypted. If they got the keys of, if they somehow got the private key of the node that you're getting that traffic from, you got a bit more of a problem than someone just man in the middle attacking. You got your private key got leaked. That's fucking scary.
Yeah.
But then the only thing that would do is that would allow them to assume your identity on the network. And like change your DHT record to point to a different server address, which then is like the real issue. But then that's the fault of the node operator and not necessarily the network.
That's just I can imagine
that's
going to be a concern for people is like how because we've all seen how because obviously Alternet
they could start up like malicious relays, but they're not going to be able to they could like just try and route your traffic through like more nodes to degrade network performance, but then you could just see that in your client saying this relay has insanely high network latency, which then it would then also be reported to all other clients connected to it, and then they just send out bad trust scores on the DHT for that node.
The scoring and the trust scores and everything would get lowered for those, and they'd get bumped down. Yeah,
and that's like an automated process, but
it's a fully decentralized trust system essentially.
I'm still working on how we're going to like enforce that trust system without like spam and whatnot. I think the idea is like using like a minimum like age on the network, almost like you've been like established and you've been sending connections for a certain amount of time. Still got to figure that out. That's complicated on its own, but it'll essentially allow us to, this node has decent score and operating. The actual like score itself when you first establish a connection is a hint and isn't enforced. It's just like that's what the node operator puts in. But then if the client then tries to calculate the actual trust score itself using information on the network, and the trust score that is provided by the relay node is off by a huge fucking margin, you can safely assume it's lying and it's not to be trusted. But if it is correct and as everything's fine, it's like, cool. Didn't have to, you can like then cache that result and be like, okay, I know this node. It's fine. And you can report it out to the network again, like, yay. But if like, someone puts in like, oh, I have this crazy high bandwidth, like metadata rules and I can do all this and it can't do that, it's like, ugh, fucked up there. And then the idea eventually would be to, extend out to like extra functionality, which comes later. And wouldn't be an integral part of Alternet. It's like an extension kind of.
Yeah. So to wrap things up, Pascal, do you have anything more to yap?
No, I think I've done my yapping for the night.
It's 11. It's like 11 p.m. for him right now. So
he's fucking out
about his code. People talk shit about his code, and he's like, "I'm gonna find these people's IP addresses."
I'm sorry, guys.
If you guys don't want any context as to why Pascal has been so fucking dead this whole meeting, it is because it's like fucking 11 p.m. for him right now. He is a button to say you cool. What? Okay. So I think we are out of questions in the chat then. So thank you all for tuning in. You know what I forgot to do? I forget this every fucking stream. You know what I forgot to do? I am a fucking bumbling idiot. I am a bumbling idiot. You guys already knew that, though. Also, because I'm bad-mouthing his Tamil. Yeah, just keep bad-mouthing his Tamil real quick. I'm gonna...
No, I'm used to that. Please bring your... I need more criticism. I like that. It makes me feel good.
Okay, you've heard it here first, folks. Pascal jerks off to criticism.
He looks like he looks at it right in the eyes, and he's just like,
Yeah, he gets a real hard on
yes.
for people criticizing him. Yeah. Okay. Active members and then silver tier is what it is, and then there we go, gold tier, and then okay.
I'm platinum tier.
We are naming the sponsors. So and the donors, silver tier and above, you guys should donate, by the way. So Ben DeBaker, thank you very much. 900061, thank you very much. CPB34, my goat, my boy, thank you very much. Bob BKD, thank you very much. Grim, I'm just gonna say Grim. Emmanuel, thank you very much. Hotel Soap, thank you very much. LA Dripper, banger username, thank you very much. Tyler Pruden, thank you very much. Michael McKell, I don't know. And then Heaven Wolf, thank you very much. I recognize that name. And then Zach Server, thank you very much. I also recognize that name. So thank you all very much, our donors. I'm supposed to be doing that at the start of the fucking stream, but I'm a stupid dumbass, so I forget every fucking time, guys. My memory is so shit. But if you guys do want to support the project and everything else, you guys can donate on our Buy Me a Coffee page. So. And that's about it. I would donate if I had money to. Yeah, most of my audience is most of my audience is broke. To be fair, though, who isn't in this
I've got
fucking
this
time?
stick of what is this? 1 gigabyte DDR2. Anyone want a gig of DDR2?
DDR2 is fucking
I got a gig of DDR2. It's slow as fuck, and I can't use it for anything. But I just
Keep
have it. 'Cause
doing
it's like
it
an
at the
ancient
end.
relic.
I might switch it to doing it at the end. All right, so yeah, I think it's about it. I guess we won't need to donate with you having that RAM collection. Yeah, we just sell one of those.
Hey,
RAM.
this is my RAM collection. This is my personal wealth. This is like a family heirloom that's going to be passed down, you know? Or just sell it in like
Dude,
8 months'
I actually
time when it's
have
worth
two
like
sticks.
$500.
I have 2 sticks of high-speed DDR4 just in my closet. I could sell that. Dude,
that's what this
Raven's
is,
going to be
yeah.
financially set for the next 5 years.
Yeah, no, I'm so glad I upgraded to AM5 at the beginning of last year. Fuck me, 2025 was last year. Because the
I haven't
RAM
seen
was...
you guys all year. Where homework?
Oh,
where
what
the
the
fuck
hell?
have you been?
Yeah.
Homework. I
Yeah,
haven't
great.
copied
It's been
your
great.
ass all year. Where the fuck?
Yes, I've been on the toilet the whole time, but absolutely shitting myself. No, I'm joking. But no,
Keep up the good
DDR5
work. Well, I
a year
appreciate
ago,
it.
DDR5 6000, that was like $150 Australian, which is cheap. That's like how many in USD? That's like 100 USD, 120 USD. It's cheap.
Yeah, the
right?
dedicated WAM.
That's 32 gigs of dedicated WAM.
Dedicated
DDR5,
WAM.
so
Yeah.
cheap. And then the CPU is probably the most expensive.
All right, well,
And then my
say
second graphics card.
goodbye, everybody. Come on, Pascal, you can do it. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, guys. I love you.
Oh, Pascal, ready?
I stole it. I stole it.
Oh, do it again.
No. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Listen to that sound, that clap. That is
tandem is so stupid. All right.
I love it.
Stop clapping.
Why not?
The audio of this stream sounds so much different than what it actually is. Okay. Bye, everybody.